The three things I love about sauteed shredded Brussels sprouts are, first, I love sprouts, as long as it doesn't involve boiling them. Ugh. The second thing is it's 4 ingredients, that's it. And the third thing is you can prep everything in advance and just saute them before dinner. Come on, let's go make some sprouts. So I was planning on making roasted Brussels sprouts one night, and I realized I completely ran out of time. So I was thinking, how could I do this really fast? I thought, I think I'll slice them really thinly and just saute them. But how do you slice these thinly without taking a lot of time? So I devised a system. There's a slicing disc in the food processor. So what I did was, I just put them in, and this is the genius part. It takes no time at all. So all I did is just trim the ends a little bit. I just put them right in. I mean, how fast is that? So I'm just going to slice these Brussels sprouts and then saute them with a little oil and butter. And then just to give them extra flavor, I'm going to drizzle them with balsamic vinegar. Wait to see how easy this is. Slicing these by hand would take forever, but I love the food processor. It should be a national holiday for the guy who invented it. I think it was like in the 70s. It wasn't that long ago. This is 2 12-ounce packages of Brussels sprouts. And that's it. I mean, that's pretty easy, right? Okay, so now I'm going to saute them. Get these guys out of the way. So I'm going to heat up a large saute pan. You really want a big surface because you really want to brown them. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 2 tablespoons of butter. Olive oil has a high burning temperature. The butter gives it flavor. Just let that melt. It's a really simple side dish. And if you have a few leftover Brussels sprouts in your refrigerator, you can just shred them up in no time. Actually, in the summer, I like to shred Brussels sprouts like this, and I make Brussels sprout slaw. Okay, that's nice and melted. I'm just gonna dump this whole thing in. It looks like it's not all gonna fit, but it does. It really cooks down. So just put them all in. And now lots and lots of salt. Lots of pepper. I want them to taste great. And just saute it for about 7 minutes until they're all nicely cooked and really tender. And if it looks a little dry, you can always add a little more olive oil or butter. And if you're braver than me, you can flip it without a spoon. But I don't know, I feel like it's gonna get all over the kitchen. See, it's all gonna turn green. It's very important when you slice the Brussels sprouts to slice the green leaves as well, because it really makes it look gorgeous. See, it's already cooking down. Not bad. Cleanup's a little messy, but it's fun. I'm gonna turn this on a little high. I love when they get a little caramelized and browned. This is like my favorite Christmas dinner. Is a roast loin of pork, sauteed shredded Brussels sprouts, and I make a potato and celery root puree. So good. It's so cozy in the winter. It's also great to make on Thanksgiving when you're short of oven space. I always try and do a few things on top of the stove. And actually, I don't want to move it around all the time, because if it sits a little bit on the bottom, it'll get nice and browned. So just let it sit a little bit and then toss it. Let it sit a little bit and then toss it again. A little more salt, if you can believe it. A little more pepper. You can actually do this ahead, too. You can prep the sprouts and leave them in plastic bags in the fridge, and then just saute them before dinner. My mother used to make Brussels sprouts, but they were boiled, and they were just, like, dreadful. Sorry, Mom. And when I started the store in East Hampton in the mid-'80s, we used to make roasted Brussels sprouts, which nobody could believe, because they're sort of crisp and delicious. This is the next generation of Brussels sprouts, sauteed. Okay, these are just about done, I think. Ooh. Ah, very hot. So good. I think they're done. One last toss. Perfect. See how they really do cook down? So now off the heat, I'm gonna drizzle it with balsamic vinegar, and that edge is gonna make them taste so good. Just drizzle enough on, just like this is really syrupy, old balsamic vinegar, and it's delicious. Okay, that's it. Time to plate it up. So, of course, I always have a white plate, which I think is just gorgeous. Makes the Brussels sprouts look best. Just put it on the platter. Just like that. Maybe a little salt. Another drizzle of balsamic. I mean, how good does that look? I would say this isn't your grandmother's Brussels sprouts. This is a new age of Brussels sprouts. They're so good. And the balsamic is fantastic. 4 ingredients. I mean, how easy is that? I love these. This recipe and more can be found in my book, Cooking for Jeffrey, or at barefootcontessa.com.